Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching. So in this video, I'll be teaching you how to paint this teddy bear. So how to make it look fluffy and soft. So we'll be using a technique called wet on wet. By the way, a full class is available on Patreon. The link is under this video. So this teddy bear is part of a big series called 12 Days of Christmas. This is when you and I get to create our own cards on Patreon. So this is the cool thing about it, because these are classes and some of them are a little longer. But once you paint that one card, you can make copies, whichever card you like best, and then you can share those cards. So send those cards to your family and friends, and you can do it the next year too. So it's not like just a regular painting that we're doing. We're doing cards, Christmas cards. So we also have cards from previous years. So there's 12 Days of Christmas 2022. You can find all of those classes as well. I never delete any of my content on Patreon. So just join us and have fun with us. Hi everyone, welcome to this class. So we're going to paint this teddy bear with a gift. So I'm going to wet the head with ears, except for the mouth, the muzzle part, and the eyes. I'm going to use my round 8 golden 2. So what I'm going to start with is raw sienna, some of the raw sienna, and let's see, quinacridone red. So raw sienna, quinacridone red. Now try to have more like a cream top, between heavy cream and cream top like ratio between water and paint. Now a lot of the areas I actually see are more like bluish, so I'm grabbing my other brush quickly, and I'm gonna grab this quinacridone red with some of the cobalt blue. So cobalt blue, quin red. Try not to overmix it. And then I need a little more water. And then whatever we see, you can see like that blue glow, like the light. That's where you want to apply this cobalt blue, quin red. You could also go with like phthalo blue. So think of it like those are our highlights. Actually, a lot of times when I paint an apple, for example, I'll just use the same 2 colors for the highlights. And then slightly letting the colors to blend in a way. What would be nice to use is this. I have this leftovers of my raw umber. I like this color, but I don't have much left. I'm gonna grab a little bit. I'm gonna apply it right in here, but I need some quin red with it. Make it warmer. So let's add some red to make it a little warmer. Just around the muzzle part. I just want this part to be a little darker. Some parts, not everywhere. And now, like, I've been painting for a few minutes, and so at this point, because the paper feels drier than it was a few minutes ago, right? I need to start adjusting more and more the ratio between water and paint. So I guess I have been already using this cream top, but this is when you really want to pay attention to it. I have a little paint on my hand, gotta be careful with that. But you want to pay attention, because at this stage, like, if you have like this water-like ratio, then everything will spread. Van Dyke brown, quinacridone red, cobalt blue, and try to have like a cream top. You could also grab a little bit of indigo too to make it darker. And cream top like ratio between water and paint. Now we're gonna go around the muzzle. And this is cream top. As long as this is still wet, you can do this without getting into any trouble. And as long as your brush, it's kind of like a damp brush, but you grab the cream top like ratio between water and paint. I'm just adding like shadows next to these eyes, beautiful eyes. I have a feeling this is gonna be my daughter's favorite card this year. A little more paint. And here where I have a bow, I want to make sure that some parts that are, I guess, nice and straight in a way. So something like that, and then we would have shadows right next to it, right? And of course, if we want to lift, I have to remember that. It's not something that I always remember. I do have to remind myself. about lifting colors because it's super easy to get sidetracked. Or you simply just ran out of that time and you're kind of waiting like, okay, this is more important than lifting. I just have to continue adding colors here instead of lifting colors. I'm sorry, instead of lifting colors, I have to add more colors. That's what I meant. So it's kind of like a gauge. But here, I'm kind of like dubbing on the paper. I'm gonna wait, I guess, a minute, see if I want to lift a little more. But other than that, I think we just have to walk away from this and let it dry. So what we're gonna do is wet the background and stay away from the bear and from the box. And we're gonna make it soft. So we're gonna apply colors up to like, I'd say 1 millimeter away. All right, not gonna spend too much time on it, but I'm gonna grab some cobalt blue, which I actually ran out of. I'm gonna grab some of this Van Dyke brown, and that'll be like my base. And to this blend, I'm gonna start adding like other colors too. So for example, if I want one area to have like some burnt sienna, for example, I might do that. So for now, I'm actually staying away from the bear. And oops, I have a little drop. Go. So stay away from the bear as much as you can. I'm gonna grab a little more of the Van Dyke brown. And then you can make it fuzzy. So it's not like you're going perfectly around, but you can gently like kind of go in there a little bit to give it like a nicer shape. But you're making sure that there's some highlights. Maybe some more blue with it. There you go. Somewhere here should be like all lighter in the background. So this one I want maybe some of the actually yellow ochre right here. So I'm gonna get closer and make it a little fuzzy. Means that line is not like, or the circle when it comes to the head is not perfect. Something like that, and then the same thing over here, not perfect. So you're slightly going in a little bit, like pushing your brush in. Start shading it slightly. Looks like it goes up to here. And what I should do is add a little bit of indigo, because this side is way more shadowed. With that indigo, I could grab more brown, so it's not so like plainly indigo. And then just keep pulling it. To have some shadow, it would be nice to have it actually here too, around. And maybe there, some indigo, Van Dyke brown, some quin red. Seems like this part should have a little more of that red in it, and then a little more of the indigo. Shading, shading, shading. And then we still have to paint that nose, and that will make a big difference. A little more of the indigo just on the bottom here. So the highlights. So we are focusing on the lightest colors we can see first, including that highlight. So wet it first. This is my Songbird Details brush, size 0. It's a tiny brush for a tiny area. And it's a stiffer brush, so I have more control. And it's pointy, so it's easy to go around. So now, when I say those things, I'm not trying to sell anything, but I want you to think of it when you choose your brush. So you're looking for a fine point, and you're looking for something small, and you're looking for something stiffer, so you have more control this way. A little more water. And I'm gonna start with a little bit of yellow, so like a yellow ochre, let's say. So some color will go over there where I have that little tiny highlight. And then I want a little bit of burnt sienna, for example. Just so I have different shades in there. I'm gonna clean my brush, grab tiny amount of some blue and drop it around that highlighted area. Although I covered it a little too much, I'm just gonna lift it. I'm gonna do the same thing with this eye. Wetting it. And now I'm gonna start with that yellow. I have a little something there, a little piece of fabric, I guess the hair. And there you go. And then tiny amount of some blue. You can grab cobalt blue or phthalo blue and to drop it around that highlight. And that's it for this part. Let's do the same thing with the other eye. So water or like ratio of Fante Brown Burnt Sienna. The first thing, circle that little highlight so you don't lose it. You know it's there. And then go around it and fill in those other spaces, the areas. And then here, this is where I have this other highlight. So now you want to go down. Keep thinking about it, like where's the highlight? So you don't cover it. I know it looks like it's too light, but we'll take care of it later. Right now, this is just to make sure we don't lose the highlights, plus it's another layer. And then with that same brush, grab this cream top-like ratio between water and paint of indigo. Try to drop it maybe mostly on the top above the highlight and like the left side, and plus maybe that, like a little dot there. Okay, so we have the eyes. They're not finished yet because we do need to go through it, but not yet. This is still too wet. All right, I think this is pretty good. I say the last thing if we do anything is to add a one line, which is right here. And that would be it for this painting. So thank you so much for your time, and please let me know if you have any questions.